Hello students, very good morning. Today we are going to start part 2 of history. Lesson number 2, Socialism in Europe and Russian Revolution. Before that, let me revise part 1 topics. In part 1, we were already introduced by the age of social change, industries, and social change as well as socialism in Europe. In this topic, we were learned about the terms liberals, radicals, conservatives, and we also learn about some of the great revolutionaries like Robert Owen, Louis Blanc, Karl Marx, and Friedrich Engels. We also learn that which parties were created to support socialism in Europe, like SDP, Social Democratic Party, Labour Party in Britain, Socialist Party in France as well. Now, today, let us start with the topic the Russian Revolution. On that time, in 1940, Tsar Nicholas II ruled the Russian Revolution or Empire. During the Tsar Nicholas II ruled on Russia, which type of economic and society structure was maintained, let us understand by some of the points. Russian population about 85% were an agriculturist. Industries were being set up which was most private property of industrialists. Workers were divided into groups but they did unite to strike work when they were dissatisfied or disagree. Peasants had no respect for nobility, very unlike the French peasants. Russian peasants were the only peasant community which pulled their land and their commune divide it. Due to this unfaithful and dissatisfaction of the workers group by the peasants, they were created their own community to create a change in current system. That's called socialism in Russia. Now let us understand points in systematic orders. All political parties were illegal in Russia before 1914. The Russian Socialist Democratic Labour Party was formed in 1898. It struggled to give peasants their rights over land that belonged to nobles. As land was divided among peasants productly, which makes them natural socialists, and it was felt that peasants and not workers would be the main source of the revolution. But Lenin did not agree with this as he felt that peasants were not one social group. Finally, the party was divided into Bolshevik and Menshevik by Vladimir Lenin. The question will be arise in your mind, ma'am, what is the meaning of Bolshevik and Mensheviks? Bolsheviks represented a minority of socialists who wanted revolution, and also Bolsheviks believed in the necessity of a revolution led and controlled by the proletariat only. But Menshevik were a group of people who represent a minority section of the society, and they believed in gradual changes, an establishment of a parliamentary form of government like France and Britain. Now, let us understand the 1905 revolution. Russia was an autocracy. The Tsar Nicholas II was not subject to the parliament. Liberals wanted to end this state of affairs. They worked towards demanding a constitution during revolution of 1905. Now let us understand about the topic Bloody Sunday incident. Prices of essential goods rose so quickly by 1904 that the real wages declined by 20%. During this time, four members of the Putilov Iron Works were dismissed. The action was called for. Over 110,000 workers in St. Petersburg went on strike demanding a reduction in working hours and increasing in wages. The procession was led by Father Gapon. This procession was attacked by the police and Cossacks. Over 100 workers were killed. Strikes took place as a reaction. After the incident of Bloody Sunday, people demanded a constituent assembly. The Tsar allowed the creation of an elected consultative parliament or Duma. The Tsar dismissed the first Duma within 75 days and announced the election of a second Duma. Now let us read about the First World War and the Russian Empire. The First World War fought between two great powers. First one, Central Power, and second one, the Allied Powers. Behalf of Central Power, Germany, Austria, Hungary, Bulgaria, and the Ottoman Empire fought, and behalf of the Allied powers, Great Britain, France, Russia, Italy, Romania, Japan, and the United States were fought. About these countries or two main powers we will learn deeply in chapter number 3. Now let us sum of the point which is chapter number 2. In Russia, the war was initially very popular, but later the support grew thin. Anti-German sentiments ran high. Russian armies lost badly in Germany and Austria. There were 7 million casualties and 3 million refugees in Russia. The war also affected the industry. There was labor shortage, railway lines were shut down, and small workshops were closed down. There was the shortage of grain and hence of bread. Now let us understand the topic, the February Revolution in Petrograd. In the winter of 1917, Petrograd was grim. There was the food shortage in the workers' quarters. 22 February, a lockout took place at a factory. Workers of 50 other factories joined in sympathy. Women also led and participated in the strikes. This came to be called the International Women's Day. On 25th February, the government suspended the Duma and politicians spoke against this measure. the people were out with force once again. On 27th, the police headquarters were ransacked. Cavalry was called out again, however, it refused to fire on demonstrators. An officer was shot at the barracks of the regiment and other regiments mutinied. Voting to join the striking workers gathered to form a Soviet or council. This was the Petrograd Soviet. A delegation went to meet the Tatar military commanders, advised him to abdicate. The Tatar abdicated on 2nd March. A provincial government was formed by the Soviet and Duma leaders to run the country. The people involved were the parliamentarians, workers, women workers, soldiers, and military commanders. Due to all these events, some effects were happened. Restrictions on public meetings and associations were removed. Soviets were set up everywhere. In individual areas, factory committees were formed which began questioning the way industrialists ran their factories. So, soldiers' committees were formed in the army. The provisional government saw its power declining and Bolshevik influence grow. It decided to take stern measures against the spreading discontent. It resisted attempts by workers to run factories and arrested leaders. Peasants and the socialist revolutionary leaders pressed for a redistribution of land. Land committees were formed and peasants seized land between July and September 1917. Now, this is all about today's lecture. Remaining chapter we will complete in third parts. If you have any doubt, any query, you will ask me in a live session. Till then, bye-bye. Take care.